Ryan, guess what's coming up on the Fast Lane car?
What?
Top 5 automotive myths exposed.
Why are we doing that?
We're doing that because we want to save you guys money. All right, give me number 5. Let's do the list.
Okay, number 5. You should change your oil every 3,000 miles.
Absolutely. Well, it really depends, okay? Now, if your local mechanic says that, he's trying to make money because modern cars basically have a lot longer intervals, especially if you're using synthetic oil, right? Synthetic oil. And what ends up happening is you can change it every 3,000 miles, like the mechanic says, or you can go by what the manual says, or in the case of this BMW, it will tell you when the oil is dirty.
That's right. You can actually go 5 to 10,000 miles sometimes, right?
Yeah, and some people who have older cars who use a lot of oil think that they don't need to change their oil because they keep adding oil. But what you're missing there is you need to change the oil filter. So just adding oil and having it go on the tailpipe is not the same as changing oil.
Okay, number 4. You want to get a new set of tires, but you can only afford 2.
Yep.
Let's say you have a front-wheel drive car. You should put them in the front, right?
No. If you go to your local tire shop, they will actually put them on the back. And that's counterintuitive, but the reason for that is because the front has a lot more grip and has a lot more weight. So even if the tires aren't great, you'll get a lot more use out of them in the front. So they put them on the back because let's say you're in the rain and you're going around a turn. If you have crappy tires in the back, that back will spin around on you. So on a front-wheel drive car, new tires always go in the back. Only if you have to.
Okay. Number 3.
Yep.
You live in a cold climate like we do here in Colorado. You got to go to work in the morning. You should start your car like 5 minutes early, right, to warm it up?
Absolutely wrong. Modern cars are built to start and go, no matter how cold it is. Now, the one thing you don't want to do is start your car and just floor it, because that is bad for the car. But if you're going to let the car warm up, all you're doing is wasting fuel and creating more pollution.
Okay, number 2. It's a hot summer day. You want to cool the car off. Air conditioning sucks up a lot of fuel, so you should roll your windows down, right?
Yeah, you'd think that would make a lot more sense, but it doesn't. Because when you roll your windows down, what you're doing is you're causing the aerodynamics of the car to go from good to bad. Basically, you're creating a lot of bad airflow. And that means the car isn't as slippery, and so it uses more fuel going, let's say, down the highway. Now, that's not true if you're just putting around town. If you're on the highway, you're much better off with your windows up and your air conditioner on because the car is more fuel efficient because the car is more aerodynamic. That simple.
Yep. Okay, number 1.
Number 1.
We're going down a steep hill right now.
Yep.
Are you using the transmission to slow you down or the brakes?
A lot of people use the transmission, right? They shift it into either second or first gear and let the engine do the and the transmission do the braking. Now, I disagree with that. I think you should use the brakes to do the braking, and the simple reason for that is it's a lot cheaper to replace front brake pads than it is to replace your transmission. I mean, you're wearing one or the other out, right?
Yes.
Brake pads are cheap, transmissions are expensive.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
All right.
Okay. I think if you're riding the brakes down a long steep grade like we do on the Ike Gauntlet with the trucks, you're going to wear out a lot more brake pads and incur a lot more cost than what you would if you use engine braking.
You know, a truck will use a thing called grade shifting to help it go down a steep grade. And basically that's using the engine and transmission to slow the truck down. And the reason for that is because obviously you've got, let's say we're doing it, 9,000 pounds of weight pushing the truck down. So if you were to just use the brakes, you would quickly overheat the brakes and you get in a situation that would be very dangerous. So the manufacturers built a tow haul mode into the truck to allow it to do engine braking or grade shifting, whatever you want to call that.
Okay.
Now, in a car, we don't have 9,000 pounds in a modern car. So I think using the brakes as they're designed to do is a lot cheaper in the long run because it's really cheap to replace the brake pads. It's not so cheap to replace the transmission.
Let me ask you about this one. This is a safety issue. What if you start to get brake fade?
I've had that happen. You know, the first thing you think is, well, I'll just use the emergency brake. But that's the same problem because basically the emergency brake works the brakes on the back of the car and those are overheating as well. Yes, in that case, definitely shift into the second gear. Unless, of course, you're in a hybrid like we are or an EV, a plug-in hybrid, in which case all I have to do is put this in regen mode and now I'm using the car's electric motor to actually regenerate power back into the battery. But that's only in a hybrid or an electric car. A regular car that doesn't have an electric motor but a gasoline engine, I'm still going to go with use your brakes. The manufacturers test these things all the time, and it's cheap to replace brake pads.
Okay.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. We always value your opinion. And as always, this is Roman.
And Brian.
Our new technical editor, who, by the way, is an engineer, so you may want to listen to him more than you listen to me saying thanks for watching. And check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course,
real world reviews.
That's right, and top 5 myths exposed. Going sideways. Oh my God, the car started going sideways in second gear.